Hey folks, I want to talk to you today about a potential hedge against the collapse of the petrodollar that may be useful to you. This is especially useful in a gray area where the economy is collapsing, but we haven't reached a WROL type situation. That potential hedge is storing a stock of foreign currency. Some facts for you. In the early 1970s, Richard Nixon stopped the convertibility of the U.S. dollar into gold, thereby ending the gold standard. At about the same time, he guaranteed Saudi sovereignty with U.S. military force if they would sell petroleum only in U.S. dollars, which they did. Several other nations followed suit, and the petrodollar was born. Now, this did in fact give some stability to the U.S. dollar again during a time of great inflation, economic downturns, oil shortages, etc. Now, all of this is fact. If you'll research the Nixon shock, this is not any kind of conspiracy theory. This is what in fact happened. Fast forward to 2000, and Saddam Hussein started accepting payment for oil in euros. This was his backlash against the U.S. for U.S.-led sanctions against his country. As you know, we invaded in 2003 and eventually executed Saddam. Coincidence? Conspiracy? I don't know. You be the judge of that. Currently, several countries are accepting payment for oil in yuan, and Russia is setting up a ruble fund for payment of petroleum. So all of this is going to further affect the stability of the dollar and take us off that petrodollar standard eventually. How does this affect you? Well, this means that the dollar in your pocket will further devalue. What can you do about it? Well, first off, the 3 Bs: beans, bullets, and band-aids. You need to stick to that until you have a big, huge mound of this stuff before thinking of anything else. Next, you want to store up some U.S. dollars. You want to keep cash on hand for the day that the ATM does not work, the day that your debit card does not work. You need to have that on hand first. After that, you can think about stocks of precious metals such as silver and gold, and I've spoken on that. You want to keep small amounts. You don't want to stock 1-ounce bars. You want to stock 1/10 of an ounce coins, etc. Once you've done all that, you want to consider foreign currency. Now, foreign currency will be good potentially for that stage of the game when the economy is going down the tubes, yet it's not quite there. When the dollar has lost so much value that you are carrying a wheelbarrow full of it to get a loaf of bread. Has this happened before? Yeah, sure. I've done videos on this. So this gives you an option. First advice on foreign currency is you want to get small denominations because you're not going to be able to get change for these bills. Is this really a viable option? Yes, certainly. I know dozens of Zimbabweans that would smuggle home U.S. dollars during their massive inflation. What are my choices for foreign currency? Well, there are a lot of good ones, and it's partially dependent on where you live. First off, for my Australian, New Zealand friends, I would keep each other's currency. In addition to that, I would stock Singapore dollars. To anyone located in the Middle East, I would stock Omani currency because they're a bit out in right field, yet they have a really strong, stable currency. For European preppers, I would stock the Swiss franc, of course. Geneva has been forever neutral. They have good stability, good banking. This will be one of the last currencies to sink. For North America, for Canadian preppers, I would keep not only Canadian currency, U.S. dollars, but consider pounds sterling, which is recognizable in Canada and may remain viable for a bit longer than the Canadian and U.S. dollars. For U.S. preppers, last but not least, as I said earlier, you want to keep a stock of U.S. dollars. But my first choice for U.S. preppers is to keep Canadian dollars and Mexican peso. The reason for this is we have a shared border. Should these currencies remain viable a bit longer than the U.S. dollar, you will have something to be able to go and buy and barter with when the US dollar is just not functioning anymore. Additionally, for me personally, I like pound sterling and Swiss francs. However, those are not quite as recognizable here in North America. Now, of course, pound sterling, UK will go down the tubes along with everyone else, but they've demonstrated some good judgment by never ever plunging into the euro along with the rest of Europe. One currency I don't mention here, and that's the yuan. The reason I don't mention the yuan, although it is growing in strength every day, China and the US have a symbiotic relationship. Their economies are now so intertwined because China providing cheap goods and us buying it up. When one collapses, the other will also collapse. That's my belief. I'm not an economist, but it just seems rather evident to me. Okay, just a quick rundown. This may be useful to you. Just another option in your prepping arsenal. Thanks for your time. Stay safe.